All right. Hey guys, thanks for coming. Richard Ludlow, and this is how we convince most developers to let us use Wwise. It's a quick talk. It's pretty simple for us, and not simple to do, but like the process we use is not a technical talk, so it's not expounding the glories of interactivity and the technology. We all know that Wwise is awesome, but anyway, yeah, I'll tell you what it's about, and just so you know where I'm coming from, again, my name is Richard, and myself and Matthew Earl own a game audio company here in LA called Hexany Audio. There's 7 of us, and we work on a lot of music, sound, voiceover, implementation, and we get hired specifically to do a lot of projects with Wwise, but we are also work on a lot of projects where the developer has never heard of middleware or Wwise, and we have to try and sell it. And because it's better for us, it's better for them, and we do quite a few Wwise projects, and much of the time are able to convince our clients that that they should go ahead and use it. And so Simon asked to kind of take a look at what that process looks like for us. So we all know and love the interactive technical features. That's why we are selling them to our clients, to try and get them to use it. But it's not always the thing that our clients really care about. So I kind of approach in 3 different places how I try to convince our clients to use it and convince them that it is best for their project. And there's kind of 3 phases. So first I tell them about the benefits pre-development. Before we even touch Wwise, there are savings and benefits available to them, and I'll get into that. And then when you're actually using Wwise, a lot of benefits there. And then even when you're kind of done making content, done with the game, it's getting ready to ship, and after ship, there's a lot of kind of post-development benefits as well. So these are kind of the 3 areas I touch on. And then we can do a little Q&A at the end. But I'm curious, so how many people here have used Wwise in a project that is going to be released or has been released? Cool. So, and have other people attempted to get a developer to use Wwise and failed? Okay. Yeah. It's sometimes more difficult, sometimes easier, but yeah, we'll dive on in. So pre-development benefits. When I'm pitching Wwise to a client, I'm doing it again because we want to use the awesome features, but also because it's a big time saver. And so the key is, from a developer perspective, sometimes the person you're trying to get to convince to spend the money is not the person that is, going to be necessarily enjoying the benefits. Maybe the lead developer or the creative or the designer is the person who's going to enjoy the technical benefits, but the person you have to sell it to is the business person or the producer. And so really laying out cost savings and benefits and things that are going to benefit their production timeline and production pipeline are things that we always focus on. So I say all the great technological stuff, but then I focus on these things. And the first thing is asset longevity, content savings. So less minutes of music needed. This is a very tangible thing. We tell them, hey, we'd love to use Wwise, and if you do it, we might actually not need to make as much music as you think, right? They've got a level, they want 3 different tracks for maybe explore, danger, and battle. That's 3 minutes of music, totally arbitrary figure. Maybe it's $1,000 a minute, that's $3,000. We tell them, well, we could use Wwise, make a 1-minute track, have it be designed specifically with implementation and layering and intensity in mind. We can make it 1 minute and save you $2,000. Again, arbitrary numbers, but telling them, you might actually need to pay us less money to make more content if we use something like Wwise, and then it'll also sound better because it's going to be more cohesive and whatnot. So content savings is not something people always think about, and not a huge selling point generally, but it is definitely something that has come into play where we've had projects, they can only afford so much music, and we tell them, well, great, this is how we can get the most asset longevity out of that. And that does come into play with sound design and asset granularization, real-time DSP, things like I'm totally losing my mind, SoundSeed. But we actually go ahead and bundle in the cost of this interactivity with our assets. So this is a theme throughout the whole presentation, is we don't charge our clients extra if they want, stems and us to build this interactivity. We charge it extra if we're going to be integrating things in Engine, but us making these interactive systems, setting them up in Wwise, creating the events, building the banks, we bundle all that cost into our like 1 minute of music price, and we tell our clients, look, you can either see it like you're getting it for free, that we're going to do this, or like we're billing you for it, and if you want to take advantage of it, great. If not, then we're still billing you for it, essentially. And the reason being, because when we put a game out, we want to make sure it's going to sound awesome. And to do that, it's going to be a lot more work if we're not using a great tool like Wwise. So I swear they don't pay us any money, and I've said that for a while, but then they gave me this little water bottle, and now it's so nice, I don't know if I can say I'm on-bribed. But anyway, so really bundling in Wwise with our costs has enabled us to be able to use it on projects because we're basically billing the cost of doing this anyway, and our clients say, well, if you're charging us for it anyway, then we're going to do it. So that's a big help there. But anyway, moving into the development benefits. This is where the main convincing arguments come in. Programming hours saved. And look, the first bullet point is also programming hours saved, because this key word, this key phrase is something I say so many times. Yeah, they don't care about the interactivity. Guys, the programming hours you will save by using Wwise, that's good, because programmers expensive, audio people cheap. Programmers expensive, audio people cheap. In two ways here, you're saving them time. Number one, you're saving them money from not having to pay to work with us, but you're also saving them money and time by letting their in-house, programmers work on things that they would deem more critical, which is fine, but things that they need to, actually do to get the game to ship. And so, using the term programming hours saved has been very, very good for us. And this means, there's no need for a programmer to go build us a script to do some semi-basic functionality that we would have to customize and do if we didn't have Wwise. And we at our studio have an in-house programmer, so we will build custom things if we're not using middleware. But a lot of people don't. And being able to say, hey, look, I'm the audio guy, I'm the audio gal, I'm out here. Let me offload some of that work from you and your programmers onto me for no additional cost. So this is really where we get them. They're going to save programming hours by having us do work that their programmers don't have to do. It's a win-win-win. Similarly, kind of side tangent, source control access. Has anyone worked on a project with Wwise without source control, so no access to the game engine, just kind of making things in Wwise and sending them off and maybe getting a build back? Has anyone done that? We do a fair bit of that. Most of the time, we are set up with source control, which is ideal because you have access to the game engine, you can do integration, you can see things in real time, be syncing up with Perforce every day. But there are situations when we can't. And so we can still design interactive systems without the engine access, set everything up, and we have like this whole tracker spreadsheet system that we send off to our clients and lets their programmers put it in. But then we can just connect directly to a build to mix it. So if they're sending beta builds via Steam, we can just connect Wwise to those without source control. So really being able to sell them if they do not want to give source control access, Wwise is, you can't use a solution that's purely in-engine, a middleware solution, because you won't be able to have access to it. So this enables us to still be able to make a great sounding game, albeit a little more work, without that. And this is the use case here is like smaller projects, mobile projects, proprietary engine projects where they don't want you in their code base. But it's also a great stepping stone for source control access, right? If you can make the argument to them, great, we can use this tool and we can connect it to the builds you send us. If they're willing to send you regular builds, at some point it might be just easier for them to give you source control access but with no commit privileges. So if I can get them to say, yeah, we'll send you continual builds, etc., I can usually kind of push them into the next phase of, well, how about you just give us source control, but no commit privileges. That way there's no danger of us, submitting something that's going to break. And then beyond that, you can get, commit privileges for, little things maybe down the road. So we've started a lot of projects like this where eventually they give us, full code base. We can do, integration and Perforce and everything. But it's a nice stepping stone to that. Oh, we're just blowing through this so fast because there's so concise. So concise, Richard. Just kidding. Post-development. So you've finished your content creation and kind of getting toward the end of the project. Cross-platform deployment. big sell with our clients. Nowadays, you can go Xbox, PS4, mobile. You don't even know what you're going to deploy to a lot of the times. Like, of course you do, but sometimes as the project goes on, a new platform comes out and it needs to be supported, etc. And the ability to do this simply is great, because people spend millions of dollars porting games to other platforms, and a lot of that work is all engineering based. And again, we're talking about taking a job that an engineer would do and allowing the audio people to do it. So platform-specific requirements like file formats and streaming requirements, etc. Wwise, you can handle all of that, and then also do platform-specific optimizations for quality, compression, streaming, etc. Low-quality Android, high-quality Android, doing a download over the App Store, need to do the different banks for localization. Localization's another top, but being able to do this memory optimization for every platform, very big sell with the people who control the money, because again, things that the programmers would have to set up. Localization, really big one for us as well. Native Unreal Unity. Has anyone done localization not using middleware? There's a reason. Very bad. There's none, basically. So people who are controlling the money for a project tend to know that a lot of money is spent on localization. And again, programmers are going to have to build support for dialogue localization, voiceover, and Wwise has it natively, and it's beautiful and glorious. And being able to say, oh great, you're localizing in 7 languages, lovely. Well, did you know that Unreal or Unity doesn't have native support that's going to be able to do what you want, really? And it's so simple in Wwise. You basically create the audio files in English, make sure the audio files in Italian have the same file names, and click a button and it all magically works. And then it doesn't, but it's because it's localization and things are wrong, but that's how it works. It's simple and it's beautiful and it's a great sell, and this is, on projects that have it, definitely a selling point. Also, Audiokinetic isn't insane. You might not know this, but if your game budget falls in between that, $150,000 and $1.5 million, I don't know why it would, but maybe it's $160,000, or God forbid, $300,000. That's not $1.5 million. They're willing to talk to you and help you negotiate a better price, potentially. I'm not saying they're going to give you a discount, because it's not always applicable, but if your game is $160,000, they're probably not going to charge you for the $1.5 million license. So there's a lot of, people over there that you can talk with and kind of work things out with. So this is always something we're talking with our clients, and it's also very nice for you to be able to kind of shepherd this process with the client, right? It shows that you know what you're doing, that you're connected with the tools you're going to be using, and again, we don't take any money from Audiokinetic, but we try and push a lot of projects to them because it just makes our lives so much easier, and if you're deploying multiple platforms, 12 platforms, maybe they'll, help you out. You look at that price and it's like another $10,000 every platform, They're there to talk with, Don't just take the sticker value prices if you're right on the edge of things, Talk to people. So has anyone, I'm curious, looked at the sticker prices and the clients just totally freak out? Is that a very common occurrence with the... Yeah. Well, and then there's that full price chart. There's a lot of things going on. Connecting early on with the development or the developer relation team over there is a great idea. So, summarizing the main things here. Audio team handling work programmers would normally handle. Bundling the cost of the asset work that we do with Wwise. So we don't charge separately again for implementation or integration unless we're doing, just that. Sometimes we'll do sound design for a project and do localization and do dialogue implementation or music implementation. But when we're making the content, there's no hourly fee, etc. It's all bundled right in, and they're paying for it anyway, so why not use it? And then also, real kicker number 3, if all of this doesn't convince them, we whip out magical number 3, which is, oh, you're not going to use Wwise? Well, we're actually gonna have to charge you more because it's so much more work on our end to get it sounding great. So if charging them already to do Wwise isn't enough, then we end up charging people more often if they don't, very, very frequently, because it's more work for us to do the integration, to make things sound great. Again, because we could sit here and make more money and throw assets over the wall and do less work, and things would sound bad. But to us, we want to make sure we're putting out projects that sound great, and to do that, we need a tool, and we need to convince the developers to use it. So this has kind of been our solution. Not saying it will work for everyone, but it's worked pretty well for us, and been working out, yeah. Anyway, that was really quick, but the solution is quick. Just charge people if they don't use Wwise. No, I'm just kidding. But assess fees. No, just totally kidding.